In this video, I'm going to be spending 24 hours customizing my RNG game. And the timer starts now, so let's get into it. The first thing that I created was some sound effects. So now we actually have a rolling tick sound effect and a button press sound effect. But now I'm going to get into creating the actual aura. So for this aura, I wanted to have like a few stars around the player and they just spin around the player basically. And I also wanted them to have a trail behind them. So as you can see, I made the star asset and this is what the aura is going to look like. And once I had the looks down, I had to start creating the animation. To make the animation, I basically just made it spin around the player. And then it was time to create the cutscene. And this cutscene was going to look like Sol's RNG because everyone's been requesting it. Alright, so I'm going to showcase the first aura now. So this is what it looks like when you actually load into the game. And this is what the cutscene looks like. So as you can see, it looks alright, but I could definitely improve upon it on the next auras. And that's what I do during the following hours. And for this next aura, I had a crazy idea. So I was going to do the aura that I just did, but evolved, and I'm going to make a really good cutscene for it. So I'll start by actually making the aura, and I rig it together. And then I start creating the animation, and I think this animation looks better than the last one. So yeah, that's good. But then I start work on the actual cutscene's place. This place was meant to look sort of like heaven or something, just like some rare place to get to. And I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, let's test it out. So as you saw, that was actually a pretty fast cutscene, but that was just my first test to see if it was possible. And the next one's going to be way better than this one. But this is what the aura looks like. And I kind of like the animation that it plays, but yeah, let's move on to the next. And for the next aura, I want it to be similar to this aura from the toolbox. And I had an idea. So I was going to have the player sitting on an orb and they'll have like red particles around them. So I start by creating some assets and then I implement them into Roblox. Then I mess around with them a little bit until it looks good. And then I move on to the actual orb. And for this orb, I want it to be like neon black with an outline on it too. And the reason I decided to create this aura was because it was going to be unique compared to any other aura I've done. But yeah, once I finished the animation, this is how it was. So I actually got the player to sit on the orb, which was one of my main goals for this aura. But I didn't really want to make a cutscene for it. And instead of making a cutscene, I made this cool title. So this is what it looks like. And by this point in the challenge, I had quite a few hours left, but I didn't tell you the rules at the start. So I can't have any breaks, and any breaks that I have are included in the timer. So when I go to sleep, the timer will continue going. And this video took me ages to make, so it'll mean a lot if you liked and subscribed. Anyways, the next thing that I did was go into FL Studio and I started creating some songs for the auras, but it didn't go well and I wasted like an hour on creating them. Then I had a few hours break just to think of an aura idea, but I was finished with the first day of the challenge and I went to sleep a few hours after finishing recording. And I woke up the next day with around 5 hours left and got straight to work. But instead of creating an aura, I decided to add a new feature to the kit. So this is a feature that everyone's been requesting and I'm finally adding it. But I've barely played Sol's RNG, so I had to learn about it first. So I searched up some videos about the different weather conditions, and once I saw how they worked, I could easily implement them. And surprisingly, it only took about half an hour to create, and now we have 4 weather conditions. So one is raining, snowing, day, and night. But now it's time to get to work on the hardest aura I've made so far. So for this aura, I want it to look way cooler than anyone I've done before, but I didn't want it to have the flicker that my other auras have. So I tried different ways to make it not flicker, but I couldn't find a way. And then I remembered there's something called billboard GUIs, and you can put images in them and they just stay still. So I thought that was the best option, and yeah, it turned out fine. By this point, I had the main idea of the aura down, and you can see it coming together right here. But the next part is usually the hardest part for me, and that's choosing a color scheme. So for this one, I want it to be a darkish color. So I chose purple and black. Then I created this light thing below the player just to make it look like stage lights or something, and I think it turned out really well. And once I had it looking like this, I was ready to actually make it into an aura. So I had a lot of trouble with this. I didn't really know what to make it look like. All I knew is that I wanted to have a morph and for the morph to look like this. But to get an idea for the aura, I just cloned this thing a bunch of times and moved them around a little bit. And then I started creating an animation, but I realized I didn't like it. So I kept changing it around until it was in a place that I liked. And once I was finished, this is how the animation was looking. And my idea for the cutscene for this one was going to be crazy, so make sure you keep watching to see that. And for the cutscene, I obviously started by creating a custom area. And I basically just copied and pasted the aura and the morph and made them huge. But now it was time to actually code it into the game. And this was actually the easy part because I had all the code from the last aura still there. So I could basically just copy and paste it. But I wanted to add something extra to this one, and it will be text down the bottom just saying something. So I quickly made the UI, and once I did, this is what it looked like in game. Okay, so now that you've seen that, we're going to go through all the auras we have so far. So as you can see in the index, we have Fractal, Evade, Fractal Evolution, and then we have Overlord. So yeah, these turned out really good compared to my expectations, but it's time to get to working on the next one. And for this one, I just copied the wings asset that I made for this video and the animation for it and put it into this game. And yeah, I think it looks alright, but I didn't really work hard on it in this video, so make sure you watch the other video. By the way, if you want this kit for yourself, it's completely free and I'll leave a link to a tutorial in the description. Anyways, let's get back to the video. And the next aura was going to be the final aura of the challenge. So I had to make it really good and I had an idea for it. So I was going to have the normal version and then the evolution of it. So yeah, instead of me explaining my idea, I'm just going to get into creating it. So to make it, I got the star asset that I made before and put it in these 4 parts. And I angled them upwards so it would like rain them downwards. And for the unevolved version, I didn't really want to add an animation to it to make the evolved one look way cooler. But yeah, I also added a star to the middle and made the stars around it rainbow and the middle one purple. Then I rigged it together and that was this aura done. This aura wasn't going to be that rare, but the evolution was going to be way more rare. And for the evolution, I basically just copied this one and then I changed everything around. So I made it have more star particles and I also made it glow heaps, just to make it more eye-catching. And then I started doing the animation, and the animation for this one was my favorite part because I can make it look really cool. And yeah, I gave this one the same cutscene that I made earlier, but this is what the final one looks like. Alright, so now I'm going to showcase everything that I've added. Okay, so as you can see, we're in the actual game, and you can see it's daytime right now. And I'll show you what the weather change looks like. So as you can see, it just changed weather there, and now it's snowing. And you can see everything here change colors. So all the leaves are white, and same with the grass. Okay, so I'm just going to complete this obby and get the luck boost real quick. Okay, so now we're going to get into the actual auras. And the first aura that we're going to go over is Fractal. And this is the first one that we created during this challenge. Overall, I think this aura is good, but it's really simple. So Fractal probably gets a 4 out of 10 for me. So we're moving on to the next one. And Evade, this one's definitely one of my favorite auras. And as you can see, I actually made an idle animation for it, and I also made custom text for it up here. And yeah, I like everything about this aura. Evade probably gets a 9 out of 10 for me just because it looks so cool. But anyways, we're moving on to the next one. So the next one is the evolution of Fractal, and this one's definitely better than Fractal. Mainly because of the idle animation, but the trail for the stars actually matches them. Fractal's evolution probably gets a 6 out of 10. Anyways, now we're moving on to Overlord. So this is what Overlord looks like, and this is one of my favorites. Oh, it just turned to daytime. But Overlord's cutscene is definitely one of my favorites, just because I added like custom text to it and stuff. So Overlord probably gets a 7.5 out of 10. But anyways, next is Imbalance, and this is the one that I copied from my other video, so I'm not really gonna rate it. And next we're going to Eternal Evolved. And this one has my favorite idle animation. This aura is just overall my favorite aura. And I'm gonna rate this one a 10 out of 10. And the reason that I'll rate it so high is just because like, it looks so satisfying even when you're standing still and also when you're walking around. You can see it trails behind you and it leaves this cool pattern behind. And also when you're standing still, it's sort of mesmerizing just because of how it looks. But anyway, since I've done a huge challenge, maybe you could do a challenge for me. So my challenge for you is to vote for one of these in the comments, and whoever's comment gets the most likes, I'll make them a custom aura in the next challenge. Also, while you're commenting, make sure to like and subscribe. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and that's it.